right, this is Bob Coppage, CEO Simplex-IT, Crotchio Geek, and host of the latest episode of BizTech Twists. And we actually have two guests with me today because apparently it was felt that I needed two people guiding me through this process. So I first of all, thank you both for coming along and joining us and all that. But it's actually going to be an interesting topic. And first of all, we got, and we talked about the pronunciation of names and my challenges thereof. And you gave me the out of just saying John B., but I'm going to take a shot at it. John Bernatovicz.
Way to go, Bob.
All right.
Yes. Rock on. High five.
I have to take my little victories at this point. So, and you've got an interesting, you got a book coming out, HR Like a Boss, on May 15th. And that's actually through SHRM, which is the Society of Human Resources, right?
Yes. Okay.
As opposed to my books, which I published myself because I didn't want anyone else to actually have to say that's a good book. So you apparently have a higher bar that you got past than I did. So that's out May 15th.
May 15th. And I was told they really like the name. The name has, I'm counting them right in front of me, 4 words. And that was it. The other 70,000 words or 50,000 they're going to put in there, who knows if they like it or not.
Well, and the first word, HR, really doesn't even have any vowels.
Exactly.
So that's a plus two, because if you played Scrabble, you know.
It wouldn't count, would it?
It wouldn't. It wouldn't. So thank you. And then we got Howard Pincham, who's the CIO over at Koinonia. And Howard, you and I have known each other for
a long time.
Yeah. And yet you still came. So
Bob, you're my hero. You know, I got to hang out with you. I need all the help in IT.
I appreciate that. And really, you need to go out and look for more heroes. You really need to. So the reason that we're here together, it's an interesting, because HR is such a huge topic. IT is such a huge topic. HR and IT is usually not a topic. We don't talk about that. And historically, we were talking about this earlier, historically, HR, IT only went to HR when we were hiring someone or firing someone. Are we doing it right? Are we going to be able to do this? So on and so forth. Okay, got that done, go away.
Yep.
HR, on the other hand, only went to IT when it was, time to run payroll and we're having problems. So that was it. Otherwise, because HR, you guys deal with people. And IT, not so much historically.
Not so much people, yeah.
But we really can't afford to do that anymore, can we?
Not at all. Not at all.
Why not?
I think the main thing about all that, and I think for the people that are listening in, the irony that this happened by chance for Howard and I to be on this show, I think is pretty unique. I think it was really intelligent luck on Bob's part.
Intelligent luck.
It's the only kind of intelligent I have is luck.
It's that kind of luck. Ironically, we've known each other for about 10 years and have had some great working relationships in our work environments. And that's been really cool. I think ultimately for me, the importance of people and their development and their fit within an organizational culture has evolved tremendously over the last 10 years. And I think it's been hyper accelerated over the last 3 years, because the work of getting things done, of making sure the payroll system is processing is a part of it. But who's doing that? And how competent and skilled and service oriented are they? At the same time, can we trust them to have access to information that I know that was always an issue for 25 years I've been in this space. We have to give access to this system to our HR and payroll and benefits team. And then there's one HR guy or one IT guy or girl that they have to say they have to have access to this too.
Right.
Yes. There's one trusted tech. Yes.
And so over time, that evolution to me has been challenging for not only just the IT folks, but all departmental executives and leaders, trying to really find cultural fit, people that are going to make a difference inside of our organization and can do their job well and do it in a way that people want them to be around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to take it further, this IT HR tech person that was assigned to do this work was the person that maybe was then the local expert. He was, or she was, caring for PCs, answering questions about where this technology lives, that kind of thing. And you needed more skills than just your typical server guy, your typical network person, that whole thing. That person had to have an understanding of the business. And maybe HR taught us that we needed to be more business solution focused, right? Maybe you guys taught us that hey, I'm in this space. Do we still do the thing with the dotted line reporting? I dotted line report to the HR principal person, and I spend more time with that person than I do my internal team. And all of a sudden, I'm concerned about how we recruit, what this thing looks like when people come to my website and post their resume. And I look like I'm more concerned about metrics that tell me, yes, this person is more suitable for a role than this one. I'm doing more IT-er things and business things than I'm doing IT things. So absolutely. Maybe you guys taught us that.
And I think one major evolution that's happened in that 10-year time frame is this idea of a development of an HR business partner. An HR BP, in essence, can be assigned oftentimes in medium-sized, especially to large-sized companies, specifically to IT. There's an HR individual that's the partner to information technology. And there's a reason for that, because the needs of an IT department are different than sales. And ironically, there's an HR business partner for sales and accounting, et cetera. And I think that part, from an HR perspective, they realize our customer need in IT is different than in sales and in marketing.
Very much.
And they've designed their org structure to support them in that way.
Very much, very much. My recruiting needs, my business needs, my development needs, right? I needed that. And I need this guidance, because maybe I wasn't thinking about developing my people. I wasn't thinking about how I retain them through other things. The HR professional comes and does that for me.
And I think one of the other things that's been going on, and I've talked about this before on other episodes, is the IT is becoming much more I and less T. You know, we are doing much more with the information. And 10 or 15 years ago, it was more on the T side. We just wanted to make sure the servers worked. We wanted to make sure the servers were faster. We wanted to make sure the applications were running, yada, yada, yada. The information, what we did with it from a business need standpoint or from an HR standpoint, it really wasn't part of what the CIO, for larger organizations, for the traditional small, medium organization, it was, no, we just want to get our widgets made. We don't necessarily need to know how are we going to develop our employees to become more productive. And we also weren't looking at it necessarily as what kind of cultural strengths are we bringing to the organization when we're hiring, when we're looking to hire, and what part does IT play in that aspect? And I think that's kind of snuck up on us. And like you were saying, in the past 3 years, it's got forced upon us to a large degree as well.
Very much. Very much. You know, that's the nice thing about all this virtualized technology, and pull out a credit card and go to Amazon or Microsoft. Shouldn't have mentioned those guys, huh? Anyway, go to your favorite compute network provider, right? And say, give me the stuff. So you don't really need that super expertise that you used to have before. But now I have different problems, right? I have a group of people that have this technology but have no idea what to do with it. So I want to understand how to make this person more rounded, emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent, all those things, right? That I depend on. I guess I depend on the people that have that space, that know people better, that have seen this work, that have the methods and procedures for that. Maybe I'm more willing to listen now because my people are working from home. They can just connect in from whatever they are, the beach, the podcasting location, or anywhere else. And now they're not in this little pod where I look out my glass and see them and count that they're doing this, right? I have to trust them. I need them to trust me. I need to create this culture that does that.
And I think too, the other part that's in that I've noticed the evolution of these internal operational service departments like IT and HR. It's really about what's the experience like when others interact with you. Someone from sales or marketing comes in, they need a new system, or your supply chain organization is really struggling because they've had outages or things that take place. And people care about that service level. Although nowadays, post-COVID, you go out and the service level has drastically diminished pretty much everywhere you go and every experience. I don't think the standard is that inside of a corporate organization. It is expected that when we come to IT, that you make that experience better for me. Don't make it worse. Find a way to help me say yes, or help me do what I want to get accomplished, because I'm the business leader in supply chain or in marketing that needs this thing to drive our business forward. And if you're going to sit there and be a deterrent and tell me no, I'm not going to come back, or I'm going to work around Howard the next time, because last time I went to IT, he told me no. And now look at me. I'm all of a sudden fledgling. I don't have any social media hits on our website. Our supply chain is down. Our CEO is really, really frustrated this isn't happening. And what am I going to sit there and go and blame Howard for it because he didn't get it done for me?
Well, yeah. Come on.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's not like you don't have a choice anymore, right? We used to send out the surveys, and we still do because we're interested in how our end users are feeling about the service we provide. And the joke always was, hey, we know you have a choice, so we want to assess the quality of the services we're providing to you. And the joke used to be, well, I don't have a choice, Howard. I can't go anywhere. Well, no, you have a choice. Right across the table from me, I got Simplex-IT. Right down the street, I got somebody else. On the web, I got Google IT, all those things, right? So, of course, it's on me to make sure that in my role, we're providing real value and not just running servers, availability, that kind of thing. But I want to say specialized IT knowledge that works in my space. I'm here at Koinonia. My argument is my team is the best technology team for providing technology to organizations that care for people with developmental disabilities, right? We're experts in that space. And my argument is we solve those problems. Now, you can go out and get brand X, but brand X is going to have to learn the business, going to have to understand the culture. Hey, we're here already. We're here ready to serve. But I want to improve. I want that to continue here. And I need that continuous improvement. And I need all the new things, right, that my HR like a boss friends and all these stuff tells me. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
And I think, too, you have to also consider the fact that those people that are coming to you from other departments are so much more educated on the topic of IT because of Google and search engines and resources that are available now, all the chat GPT stuff that's available that you can get so quickly educated on in a nanosecond on billions of things that can tell me about, well, Howard brought up this certain server type and I left the office and all of a sudden I'm Googling and what that is. And I call BS on Howard. You don't know that's not going to work for me. There you go. Because I'm so much more educated as a buyer, as a user in that community.
So I'm going to push back a little bit because, it's fun. Because you've also got situations where someone is educated in all the wrong ways. So because I went to Best Buy and I could buy a computer for $400, why are you telling me this server is going to be this much more money? Or let's just move to the cloud, or ChatGPT can replace everybody, all of that kind of fun stuff. And simultaneously, you've got on the IT side, well, I know how our salespeople should be going out to market. So we have these self-made experts, and that's a challenge. So normally, I would think from the standpoint of how do we make sure that A, we're staying in our lanes, and B, we're cooperating between the lanes simultaneously. That is, in some organizations, that's a huge cultural shift. Is that an HR role? Is that an executive role to kind of bring that change to light? And what's the best way for those resources to make that happen?
I'll give you an example internally within our firm at Willery. We have a core value. It's called Seek to Understand. And it's really around, let's just say Howard is our CIO and I come to him and say, well, this technology is by far the best suited for our need. And Howard, in my infinite wisdom, having worked with him, would probably start asking me a few questions. Right. What does that mean? Where are you coming from?
He does that all the time.
It's so annoying, isn't it? All these questions. Yeah, stop with the questions, Howard. But in essence, as a result of him being inquisitive and consultative, he likely can learn that person that is educated 5 minutes by a Google search. And that Google search doesn't equate to expertise that Howard has and can bring to the table to help make a sound business decision that's best for the organization.
So I want Howard to reply to that in a self-deprecating way, because he's going to do it that way. But I also want to make him wait for a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Are you fed up with reactive IT providers who take too long to respond, let problems fester, and nickel and dime you for every little thing? Say goodbye to those frustrations by choosing Simplex-IT, home of Amazon's best-selling author and BizTech Twist host Bob Coppage. As Northeast Ohio's friendly neighborhood MSP, Simplex-IT has been providing top-notch managed and co-managed IT services since 2007, supporting hundreds of clients locally and across the United States. With a managed service provider like Simplex-IT, you'll benefit from proactive maintenance, 24/7 monitoring, and streamlined technology that will help you grow your business. Visit simplex-it.com for more information and to start experiencing stress-free IT today.
And we're back. And I'm not going to repeat the question to Howard because that would be a kind, nice thing to do.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
Absolutely.
Howard. What are you going to say?
Yeah,
the whole world is waiting.
They all are, all four of them.
I want to talk about the behind the scenes of this thing, but I guess that's not good in podcast land. We were talking about. I'm joking about the game. I forgot the whole question. Right. So
no, part of the question is essentially.
Don't give it to him, Bob. No, come on. Let's have.
I'm being accused of being nice. This is really
exactly
weird.
What's going on with you?
I don't know.
I appreciate the help. Right. So Bob waved the flag right on our just whatever this HRIT Love Fest thing that we had here. Right. We were talking about how in business end users have a choice. They can choose, right, who serves them, where they get the service from, where their technology comes from, right? And this whole thing is I'm Googling this question or technology or thing, or an AI bot told me that, hey, this is what you tell your IT person, or this is what you tell your leadership, right? And you come to the table and you say, well, ChatGPT told me this. Howard, you're all confused about where technology is. Listen, the first problem is, where's the trust, right? We're talking about more than just bits and bytes here. This is a culture thing. You guys talked about, hey, I ask you all these questions. My objective here is to understand what the need is, what the demands are, what the business objectives are, those things, right? And I might not have the answer, right? I might not be able to pull this right out in front of you, but what I will do is say, okay, I understand these requirements. Let me go back and meet those needs. But look at when you talk about technology, especially technology that you picked up from Google or ChatGPT, you don't get this depth, right? And it's not like I'm showing up today and we haven't worked together and you don't have already established this trust with me, right? You know me, you know who I work. We're peers, we're partners, we're coworkers, and we've been that way for a while. Now, when I tell you that, hey, look a little further than ChatGPT, look at some of the problems that are going to come based on the requirements you gave me, right? Maybe again, you'll say, okay, I think he understood what I said because he repeated it back to me. He told me what some of the problems are there, and he committed to look into this and come back with an answer. And even further, maybe he even committed to partner with me or have his people partner with my people, right? And then look for this solution, because in a lot of cases, we don't have the answer. So the miss here is, we need this trust. Now, Bob, I don't want to make fun of you and your business and your folks, okay?
But you're going to.
You're rounding up, right? I'm glad you don't have that big pizza cutter here behind you, because I could see it going through my forehead. But what I'm talking about is there are people that sell this, we call it, it's called virtual CIO, that whole thing, right? This might be self-serving if I say that. The challenge that you have with those kinds of services, my argument is it's difficult to get that service because, even though you show up and you have methodologies that help you work through this thing, if you're not at the table, if we don't trust you or we don't give you the understanding of our culture, of our business demand, and you can't research or hard enough, how can you provide a solution, right, that best fits our needs, right? That's that whole trust thing, this relationship, this gooey, icky kind of personal thing that goes with all this. So it's more than just, hey, Howard, tell me what server platform we need to purchase. It's more of, hey, we need to solve this problem. Let's look at all the issues. Somebody like me that's been in this space with you understands some of the other dynamics and maybe can even talk about the history that we've had in the past and things that have worked and things that haven't worked in this space, and can talk about the organizational change matters and issues that are going to come up and need to be dealt with as well. So it's more than just a, hey, this is a walking ChatGPT, Google response, give me this solution. It's more of, we're doing this walk with you. We're working with you, just like the internal HRIT guy. We understand a little more about your discipline and what some of the issues are, and we've seen what works and what doesn't. You can trust that our involvement, our seat at the table, we're a player with you real team person doing this team thing. I hope that makes sense. That's a bunch of words. And you guys notice I stumbled from the beginning, but this thing all starts with trust, relationship, us working with you at the table. It's not just a, hey, call somebody up and get the answer. No, it's let's discover the answer together.
I really wasn't listening. What did he say?
Clearly, Bob, this was a test for your lifelong friend. I'm lucky that I'm a new guy and you didn't put me on the spot with the commercial break tease, which he's a pro in all this. What I heard him say is really, really spot on. And it reminds me of something I tell people all the time. In life, in business, and everything that you do, it's how you make people feel.
Right on. The
net of what you do when you're on your deathbed, it's going to be not the IT projects that you accomplished, right. Don't get me wrong, or all the things that claim that you had. It's how did I make people feel? And that IT person that gets this crazy marketing person coming into their office saying, we got to go to HubSpot. We got to go to this. We got to go to that because of this. And I Googled it on ChatGPT and this is the way to go. And Howard just diffuses the situation, understands what's going on, and provides counsel and insight. And my guess is, I'm hoping that marketing person says, he heard what I said, he had my best interest in mind, and I felt really good in that conversation. To me, that is a miss. That is a miss that's happening universally within not just IT and HR, but all departments, because people are so focused on go, gotta go. And they forget you're a human being and you got a problem. And you came to me with a potential solution. How can I help you?
Amen.
Well, and I'm also going to push back a little bit on the trust concept. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I think, and I'm going to be stereotypical here, but a lot of IT management, especially in the SMB, really don't work hard to earn that trust beyond the lights are blinking. Yeah, we made sure the computers are up. We made sure the servers are running. We made sure all that stuff. Everything else, I mean, that's you guys. That's you guys have to make sure. And I've done this where I've talked to IT people and I say, so what does your company do? Well, I keep the server. No, not what you do. What does your company do? What's the service? What's the goods? What's the value you add to your community and all that? And they're like, I don't know. So I would say that if you get a virtual or fractional CIO who actually does take the time to research so they can answer that question.
Yeah.
They deserve a higher level of trust than an actual full-time IT person who never bothers to walk outside of the server room.
We won't put Howard on the case or the point to tell us what Koinonia Homes does and their purpose, because I know he knows and it's critical in his business. From my standpoint, I'll give you one.
He actually did bring it up though. So let's put him on the spot.
We already did that once.
Okay. So we don't want to do it again. Okay.
No. So you're running the show. I'm not the podcast. So you want to be put on the spot? I guess
there's two of you and there's one of me. So I'm outnumbered.
Has there ever been a fight on this show before? Fisticuffs?
Only when I'm the only one talking.
Okay. All right. Good. Here's my point is when I wrote my book, a couple things came out that really became clear. In writing a book, I know, Bob, you've written several before. Like you get a lot of ideas in your mind you think are good, and then you write them on a piece of paper and you read them back and you're like, oh, that was really, I'm not going to show anyone that.
We'll never speak of that again.
What narcissist, egotistical rant was I going on there? My main point is, number one, companies need to have a purpose. It needs to be very clear and they need to be committed to it. And everyone inside of the company has to repeat what it is when you ask that question, what do we do?
Right.
4 words or less, ideally, is what I've heard. Back to your manager state, which this was one of the most eye-opening experience. I have a colleague and friend in Pittsburgh, and her father started an incredible consulting organization, DDI. I'll give her a shout out. 46 months is the average duration between the time I become a manager and then you actually give me training on how it is to be a manager. Think about that. 3 years, 10 months. It's kind of like, hey, you want to be a manager of 10 people? There's a pool right out back. You don't know how to swim. I'm going to throw you in it and let you swim for the next 46 months and see how you feel.
And then we'll give you a life preserver at the end of the 46 months.
Yeah, and you're dead. Or everybody's quit, or the whole business has gone down. And that's statistically a fact. And it blew my mind.
Yeah. You know, Bob, right on your point, and I called you guys out, virtual CIOs all over the world. Oops.
No, you absolutely agree with it.
But no. Your point's well taken. And I have this problem with people in my space. My voicemail, my mailbox is full of all these people saying, hey, buy this, do this, right? That don't even take the time to even understand that we're in the business. When I mentioned developmental disabilities, people on the autism spectrum, individuals that have all kinds of different physical challenges, we provide their home, right? They live with us and they depend on us. So this business we're in is special. But listen, I'm almost as old as you are. Been in this game a long time, right? Almost. IT looks like IT. Totally get it. But just like you pointed out, people have a choice. These guys are opting to go with all these XYZ.com services that'll just turn this on, and software as a service, business as a service, all the as a services, right? That just work. That's my competition. So where am I going to go if all I'm interested in is keeping these servers running, right? So these people that miss that point, they're going to be out, right? Because you're right. The MSPs, the providers that come in that understand that will work in, and that's where all this outsourcing and all this stuff happens, right? Now my HR partners hopefully can help me with this in this space, right? That not only I'm at the table, but I'm concerned about my people, but they're helping with this thing that, like we call trust, right? That requires that we do business differently than we did before. If my peers can't trust me, if my business can't trust me, then listen, why am I providing this service anyway? Why not buy XYZ MSP and pay them by the ticket or by the month and then, go to town? No, there's real value in having me at the table because, again, I understand this IT discipline. I'm talking about myself like I'm all that, right? But okay, I understand this IT discipline and I understand a little bit about our business, right? And I'm almost being as old as you. My other advantage is, right, I've seen a lot of things work and not work, right? Not only at the technical level, at the business level. And that's where we win, I think. And it's about winning, and it's about us having a different mindset. And it's about us saying, hey, in the end, I need to make sure that all 300 folks that are served by us, the people that serve them have the tools and everything they need.
So essentially, we're talking about that personal and professional development that's not just technology.
That's not just technology.
It's business, it's personal, it's interpersonal skills, all that good fun stuff. And this is where HR can definitely partner to do that.
We need your guidance.
One of the things in writing the book, I came up with these 5 core principles of a business plan from an HR perspective. And it may not be what a traditional HR person might think, but it centers around purpose and people and process and productivity and profit. And in my mind, the one that's the biggest miss is the profitability of a business. Now, I know in Howard's case, he works for a nonprofit, but there's still financial performance of that. We're just looking at a different mechanic.
It's still a legitimate term.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it is a tremendous opportunity for HR to partner with their finance friends to come up with a disciplined way to share the financial performance of our organization on a consistent basis, that we train and develop our individuals, no matter what their role is, to understand how to read a financial statement, to understand what a balance sheet is, and then most importantly, understand the job that I'm doing as a HRIT professional, or I'm doing as a supply chain associate. I know what my job has to do with affecting the financial performance of my business. If we can find a way to do that, it's really not that easy, but let's not overcomplicate it. When everybody comes to work, I know what my contribution is. I know what I'm doing to help the greater good of the business. If we go one step further than that and say we do that, and then we have a successful organization, my hope is, back to my very first point of having purpose and being committed to it, we can then go do something good in the community with all these like-minded people that are aligned and understand what their job is. They kind of like what they do because they know what it means and they understand the impact. And then we have a business that hopefully is making money or doing something positive in the community. Let's go out and do something good. And organizations like Koinonia Homes have a advantage in that regard because they were built out of a purpose, where in essence, most businesses were built out of someone saying, I don't like working for someone else. I'm going to go start my own company and make my own money. And then they back into reverse engineering. Oh, we've got all this money now and all these people that seem to like it. Am I going to get a bigger boat, or am I going to go do something good in the community?
Right.
That to me, that's doing HR like a boss, is connecting the people to the purpose of your business. IT related, finance, accounting, marketing, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Cool. So we've talked pretty much from the HR perspective. We talked about the IT, and we're about to wrap up now. So just give me 10, 15 seconds from each of you. From a CEO standpoint, how should they approach this situation? Because they look at their organization and they need to evolve. They need to make change. Best way to do it.
I'll take a quick stab, give you a second to think, because you got put on the spot. Then the commercial break. Number one, have a purposeful commitment. Be clear about what it is, 4 words or less, know what it is, and ideally align yourself with a charitable partner that you can say, as we do good, we're going to do good in the community. Number 2, be people-centric. Put your people first before anything else, because if you don't, someone else will. And then the other items we talked about, process continuity, production, be able to produce results. Show people what makes a good day at work, and make sure and hold them accountable that they need to do that to contribute to the greater good of the business. And then educate people on the financial well-being of the firm and the organization you work for. Then as a result, you might be more educated to do that at home and take care of yourself and your family and put yourself in a financial place that maybe you wouldn't if you didn't have that experience at work. That wasn't 15 seconds, but close.
Dude, that's awesome. I want to say here, and right on. To the CEO, yes, people, process, and technology, right? Those are the fundamentals. Clearly, from the technology side, we sell you silver bullets. Somebody says, get all the stuff right. That doesn't work. We need to enable people in the way that you said, John. We need to enable our processes. They need to be measurable. They need to drive directly to that profitability. I love that. And lastly, then that technology enables all of that, right? Technology doesn't drive it. It enables it, right? You understand your mission. You understand your business. Your people have the skill set. The technology then complements that.
Cool. And with that, I think we can wrap this up. This was actually really cool. This was interesting to get all the perspectives and get them. What do we see by combining them, and see where we can go from here? So as always with podcasts, you like it, you subscribe it, you put comments to it, you slaughter an armadillo across the keyboard. I heard that on the internet, so it must be true, but you know the routines, and appreciate any feedback. So for BizTech Twist, this is Bob Coppage, John Howard. Thank you guys very, very much.
Hey, thank you.
And definitely want to see your book. And with that, catch you later.
Bye.